Hello, and welcome to the fourth podcast of Modulate My Music, the podcast that uses meditation and music to bring reflection and insight to our experience. My name is Isabel, Hede, and I am a professional violinist and meditation teacher from Melbourne. In this podcast, I explore a different theme each week. The format of the podcast begins with an explanation of the week's theme, followed by a meditation and musical interludes. This podcast is designed to be helpful for any listening setting, whether you are on your daily commute, in a quiet room alone, around other people, whatever is beneficial for you. This podcast is also in support to Modulate Music's live performance series, which involves professional musicians performing old and new music alongside guided meditation interludes. Modulate Music concerts happen in various venues around Melbourne and Australia, so stay tuned for updates with upcoming events. For this week's theme, I'll explore the concept of light, a slightly more abstract topic compared to the previous week's podcasts. Although most of us will initially think of the visual experience of light, I'm interested in bringing together the mental experience of light alongside the musical experience of light and exploring how that can affect us. The concept of light is used in many meditation practices and is symbolically often linked with purifying, clarifying, and releasing, among other things. I also think it has these similar connotations in everyday culture too. Similarly, darkness is used in the opposite fashion to represent negativities, heaviness, and confusion. In meditation, we can use these concepts to empirically explore what it is to experience lightness of body and mind and how this can shift our perspective. The way in which you can explore these aspects in meditation is through the skill of visualization. Now, I've heard many people say, I'm not a visual person, I'm not artistic. But whether or not you are visually inclined, you will most likely have the ability to visualize. The test for this is if I ask you to think of the last meal that you ate. You will very likely get an image in your mind of the meal even before you have actively thought about it. If you can spend a moment looking at that image, that is your visualizing skill. Like any other skill, the more you exercise and refine it, the greater you will be at it. And in terms of meditation, the greater impact it will bring to your experience. Initially, when you first learn visualizing, the first challenge is to create the image in the mind, but the second challenge will be to maintain the image. As I have mentioned in the previous podcast, the untrained mind is easily prone to distraction. That is why it is always good to begin with building some simple concentration by maybe using meditation focused on the breath before moving into the visualization. So you may be wondering how the visualization of light could have any impact on the way we think or feel. After all, it is simply just an image in our minds. Well, the logic follows that we are in fact being shaped by our experience of our mind at every moment in time, despite whether or not we are aware of it. Our impulses, our moods, emotions, and a constant stream of thoughts and images are constantly affecting our experience of our world, let alone all the things happening to us from the outside. As we have seen in the previous podcasts, through exploration of directed attention, stillness, and breath meditation, it is possible to bring some clarity to the mind, to bring space and ease, to become aware of what is going on internally rather than being enslaved by it. Visualization is another skill that can complement these practices. We are now drawing on another faculty of the mind, imagination, to consciously direct our attention to something that is helpful. And because this experience is on an internal level rather than an external stimulus, it has the potential to shift our usual habitual mental patterns to become conscious mental decisions that can be beneficial to our minds and bodies. So for this meditation, we will begin as always with bringing relaxation to the body and mind. We will then spend a short time cultivating a state of balanced focus with meditation focused on the sensations of the breath. We will then try out the skill of visualization using the two visions of white light and black smoke that I will direct you through. For the conclusion, I will include an excerpt from Sydney sound artist composer Megan Clune from her album Relating to the Immediate Surroundings of Something. This album features performances from Melbourne musicians that has been recorded and morphed into an expansive echo that inhabited the space that they played in for an entire day. This album is the second in a series of concept-driven music objects by Megan. We will now begin the meditation. You will hear the sound of the bell to mark the beginning and conclusion of the meditation. So, the first step to beginning any meditation is making the conscious decision to let the body relax. Release all the muscles, letting them feel the weight of gravity. Bring extra attention to the muscles of the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, and the face, completely letting any tension release into a state of softness and ease. To aid this process of letting the body release, I find it helpful to take 3 deep breaths. With each out breath, release every muscle until there is nothing left to release. After taking this moment to release the body, it is now important to assume a posture of attentiveness, completely relaxed but ready to mentally focus. Whether you are sitting, standing, or lying down, the most important thing is to ensure your back is comfortably straight. Now that we have ensured that the body is relaxed, yet alert, we will take some time to prepare our mind for the meditation. We spend so much of our day being propelled by our various life activities, our daily stresses, distractions, worries, and so on. It is very easy for our life to become consumed by these actions, with very little time for reflection towards our internal state. For this very short time, you are creating a precious opportunity to turn your attention inwards, to create internal change. Seeing the gravity of your situation and decision, let yourself completely release all your concerns, all your preoccupations about the past or the future, all striving. Simply release it all, knowing for this short time it will not be useful. So now that we have committed our minds and bodies to the meditation, we will begin with meditation focused on the breath to build up a level of mental stability and focus. For this week's podcast, we will direct our focal point for the breath to the sensations of the breath at the abdomen. This point of focus is particularly helpful for a busy mind, as it directs your focus downwards, bringing greater grounding and stability. However, if you find another point of focus easier, like the sensation of the breath at the apertures of the nostrils, or full body breath awareness, you are welcome to do this instead. Just ensure that you keep the same point of focus for the entire session. So now we will gently bring our attention to the subtle rise and fall of the abdomen, expanding with each in-breath, contracting with each out-breath. Remember, there is no need to alter the breath at all. You are just simply using the abdomen as a mental object of focus. So as I mentioned in the previous week's podcast, the breath can act as a perfect method for balancing the mind. As we pay attention to the in-breath, we can use the experience to gently arouse our focus, to sharpen our attention. But then, as we experience the out-breath, we completely release into a state of ease. This is how we can learn how to balance on the tightrope of maintaining complete ease whilst cultivating stability and clarity of mind. Practice this cycle of arousing your attention on the in-breath and letting go on the out-breath for a short while. Now that you have spent a short while bringing a level of equilibrium and balance to the mind, we will now exercise another faculty of the mind, our imagination. Our imagination is in fact in use all the time as we recall memories, brainstorm ideas, and even when we dream. But now we are going to consciously direct our imagination with our somewhat balanced mind for internal reflection. Now see if you can use your visualization skills to imagine a powerful orb of white light in front of you at the level of your forehead. Feel the power of the white light alike to the experience of standing in the light of the blazing sun. This light represents clarity, mental space, and well-being. Now with each in-breath, visualize this light entering through the top of your head and traveling down the entire body, flooding your body and mind with clarity, ease, and well-being. Let the natural flow of the breath bring greater ease and impact to this visualization. Now this may be enough for you, but if you would like to add another element to the visualization, you can add the visualization of black smoke. The black smoke symbolizes all the things that obstruct you from well-being, any tensions, concerns, restrictions to your body and mind. Imagine these things pouring out of all the pores of your body in the form of black smoke and simply evaporating into thin air with each out-breath. If you would like to add this to the visualization, you can imagine with each in-breath the white light entering and flooding the body, and with each out-breath the black smoke oozing out of the pores of your body. Your body becoming a vessel of powerful white light, free from all tensions, transforming with every breath. Continue this practice as I introduce the musical excerpt. now simply release the visualization. Let the mind and body rest in complete stillness for a moment. Thank you for listening to the Modulate My Music podcast. I hope it has been beneficial for you and you have enjoyed it. If you would like to write a review and subscribe for this podcast, it would be greatly appreciated. You can share your comments on iTunes or at www.modulatemusic.com. Also, if you'd be interested in attending one of our live concerts or you think you'd be interested in collaborating with us, please check or contact us via our website www.modulatemusic.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram as Modulate Music. Once again, my name is Isabel, Hede, and you can join me again on next week's Modulate My Music podcast, where we'll be exploring the theme of the body. Look forward to sharing it with you then.